So Pilch, I reckon we get into
Talk.
it, mate. I reckon we start with the NFC North. And, well, I don't want to say you're beloved because you do have a lot of teams you like. And I don't want to make you sound like a bit of a weirdo going for 4 teams. But you do fancy a couple of teams in the NFC North. You do like it. One of the more interesting divisions, I'd have to say, year on year. But how do you see this division playing out this year?
I see the NFC North playing out quite standardly this year. For me, it was quite an easy one to predict. So I've gone Packers taking out the division title with a 12-5 record, followed by the Vikings at second with a 9-8 record, followed by the Bears 6-11, and then Lions 4-13, which is quite generous of me to give them 4 wins. I think they might deserve negative wins this season, but we will see how it goes.
Yeah, I've got the exact same order as you. Why do you reckon Vikings will leapfrog the Bears from last year?
From all reports, the Vikings D is looking quite good this off-season, so I think they'll put on some good shows, and they're always like kind of up there. You know, I've got them at 9-8, so nothing like huge. I've actually got them missing the playoffs, but I just think they'll be fairly consistent. And then I'm not a fan of the Bears. New QB, poor offense, and yeah.
Yeah, I reckon last year was definitely an off year for the Vikings. I think that squad to get 7 wins, I think doesn't really match up in my head. So yeah, I've boosted them up against the Bears. However, I don't think they'll get too many more wins. Obviously, we're going to factor in the extra game this year, which I had forgotten about until about 10 minutes ago. But they're playing the NFC West as their NFC matchup, and they're playing the AFC North. So they've probably got the hardest schedule you can get. Like, I think that's the best AFC and NFC division, respectively. I think we'd all agree on that. So definitely not an easy one. Last year, they didn't have the easiest fixtures anyway, but it's definitely going to be harder. So yeah, I've got the same order as you. I've got Green Bay dropping down to 12 wins, but I think they'll win it comfortably. I just don't see nothing really changing there. I know Rodgers was at his best last year, but I can't see why it won't be again. And Matt LaFleur is only going to get better as a coach as he gets more years under the belt. I've got the Vikings at 8 wins, Chicago at 6 wins. Probably a bit stiff to drop them 2 wins, but I just think, I know their offense was absolutely garbage last year, so it probably can't get much worse. But yeah, I don't know. There's something weird going on with Chicago. I know their defense is still pretty elite, but yeah, I can't get behind it too much. And then I've got Detroit 2 wins. I've got 3 teams who are significantly worse than the rest of the competition this year, and sadly, Detroit are one of those. And that impossible schedule mixed with a pretty decent division themselves, I think it's going to be tough going and hard to find wins for Detroit and their new coach. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for Jared Goff, I predict. Hopefully he goes well because he's had a pretty treacherous time in his career so far. I know he's had some success at the Rams, but being in such a big market in LA, he was sort of under so much scrutiny all the time. So hopefully away from the lights a little bit in Detroit, he can put on a show. Do you think Jared Goff will have an all right year?
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know who he's throwing to be honest. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones have left, so
shocking situation for the great man. Kind of feel bad for him, but
yeah, definitely a tough spot, and I do not envy him. Not that I really envy any quarterbacks. A bit of a tough gig for everyone involved.
It's a miracle! Oh yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.